It's time for America's #1 new podcast, The Reality Check. These guys believe reality is the truth as they see it. The Reality Check. Now, here's your host, Mike Scully.
Hello, America. What do you say, fellas? Back in studio on this beautiful Thursday? Look who wandered back from across the pond. Our world traveler, Mr. Free Shoes University, J. Nick. What do you say, Johnny? How you doing, brother?
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. Baby's back.
Let's
go. Let's go.
Well, we're gonna get into your trip here a little later in the show, but good to have you back, my friend. Trick, the boy from University of South Alabama. We found you wandering around Mobile, as always. How you feeling today, buddy?
I'm feeling a little rough. I'm just happy I made it.
Yeah, we'll get into the rumors of what happened last evening, but great to have you in studio.
Thank you.
And obviously always joined by the wisdom of our boy Yoda, Mr. C. Nick, Carl Nicolosi. What do you say, C. Nick?
Let's roll, baby. Ready to roll.
And we got a wounded shooter this morning. We got a Black Hawk down, but on the board, our Packer man, the shooter, owner of Shooter's Bar and Grill.
I'm alive and well, and I know what abandonment means.
It's not my fault.
It's not me.
You're
I
a
was
big
riding
boy.
and dying with you, buddy.
You're a big boy.
We had fun last night.
Well, we'll give America a little tour last night. Cats and Jammers, our fantasy football group, had its opening season get-together last night at the Miracle baseball game, the Minnesota Twins.
Mighty Muscles.
The Mighty Muscles now. Used to be the Miracle. Sorry. Screwed that up. But you boys, I didn't get a chance to partake with you last night, but we've got some wounded soldiers today.
Yeah, actually, we do. Thanks to Frank Papasiderio, or Papa Giorgio, as I like to call him, for hosting a great time last night that he wasn't even there for because he was playing golf. But it was a great time. I had plenty of drinks, plenty of food, lots of laughs, and I'm hungover today. So I'll try to do the best I can.
All right. Well, let's get into it, guys. I'm gonna ring the bell. You saw me earlier in the week with my social media post for us, the hill I'm gonna die on. But our girl did it again last night. They knocked off the third best team in the WNBA, and she didn't play her best game. And that means that team is getting better, and they're actually now on the verge of making the playoffs. Our girl, CC, number 22, Caitlin Clark. Fever. The silence is deafening. Come on, guys.
I have nothing to say. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, okay, she's okay.
This is almost as bad as soccer for me. For the love of God, man.
I told you it's a hill I'm going to die on.
And you're going to die there alone.
Well, no, I'm not, because I've got half of America, just like the political world. Half of America hates her, half of America loves her. I'm on the side of loving her.
I think love is better than hate for sure, but
Okay.
I have no comment. I'm over it.
Caitlin Clark has taken her team and the WNBA to the next level. Period.
Well, when you're on the ground floor, that's not hard to do.
Well, we just got to keep beautiful Lexi Hull from trying to accommodate as many balls as she can, like she said in her post-conference last night. That was pretty damn funny. That ended the news conference, press conference. It was over at that point, so. All right, let's get into then a more popular topic with you boys because we had fun. We've discussed it this week, just sitting around having a couple beers. But how about our Lake Mary Little League team from the town just north of Orlando?
Yeah, baby.
Damn.
They won the Little League World Series.
They did. They did.
Florida
Very
brought
impressive.
it home. Yeah.
Yeah, they broke an 0-8 snide. The state of Florida, sending teams to the Little League World Series, was 0-8 in championship games.
Very nice.
They obviously the coolest part about it is they went 2-0 and then they lost in their third game to Texas, and
That's
then
right.
battled back, won 3 straight, and then beat Texas in the U.S. Championship to get the chance to play Chinese Taipei. Now, for those of you that didn't watch this or haven't seen this, the ending to the game was spectacular. Usually, when you hear the term walk off, you're thinking of a home run or a double to the gap or a single that gets out of the infield. They walk-off bunted them in the bottom of the 8th inning because they were playing California rules with the man on second, and they advanced. And the Chinese Taipei kids, who played a disciplined tournament the whole way through,
As always.
forgot to cover first base on the bunt, and the kid threw it into the abyss.
Rut-row.
Yeah.
And weren't they down 4-0 to Texas?
They were down 4-0 and came back, won that game 10-7. I mean, it was just the kids, the cardiac kids, this Taraj Henderson young man, the dancer, he got out of the way of a drive. Now they're starting doing all this wiggling and shaking. It was just then JJ Feliciano, the shortstop, made a play that was Derek Jeter-esque.
Ooh.
It was just cool. You know me, my love for baseball with my boys.
I get it.
It was just a
It
cool
was
thing.
fun to watch because I like the Little League World Series more than I do the MLB personally because the kids have fun and it's still have fun as opposed to it just being a business.
Yeah, I ranked the College World Series and the Little League World Series 1-2, and the World Series for Major League Baseball distant seventh.
Didn't Taipei have bases loaded? 2 different innings,
And 2
Right?
different. You're 100% right, Carl.
and I mean, that Taipei kid. I mean, took him deep, but it just didn't get out of the park.
No, they caught it at the warning track.
Yeah, caught on a warning track.
Well, the interesting thing is you get into the discipline of how they played throughout the tournament. The fact is that they didn't bunt their runner because they had the same runner opportunity with the California rules of putting him on second base to advance him, and they didn't. They had 2 swings and a miss, and I think a ground out up the middle. But it was amazing that they didn't follow their own rules or discipline to get that. So it was.
I'm glad we won.
Yeah.
Well, Scully, how important is coaching? Or is it just sheer athletics? Because it's you're looking at 12-year-olds, right?
12-year-olds who are pretty talented.
So I'm 13. Like if you meet the date, you can actually be 13 and play.
Yeah. That's that May 1st date.
There you go. Well, you know that well.
I know that well because my boy was born on May 1st. Perfect date.
May Day.
But no, you're 100% right. The good coaching. The only bang as I'm going to give the coach of Lake Mary Little League team. He was wearing these beautiful Jordan high top shoes with those. I can't use the term. Capri pants or
Clam diggers.
yeah, whatever. It was just not a good look. And every time he jumped up and down, it was awful. But congratulations to Lake Mary. We're proud of you being Floridians ourselves. Way to bring it home. It was fun to watch. And now we're on to, guys, it's the FedEx Cup Finals.
Oh, yes. Looking forward to it. No one catches Scheffler.
You think?
Nope. It's done.
Now, I know he's got a 2-shot lead over Xander,
Right.
and then everybody else triggers back from there.
I mean, I actually looked at it to see if I could tell you a dark horse that was going to come back. And a couple of players that I think might have a chance are just starting off already too much in a hole. This thing's done. If you're gambling, lay the money, you'll win. He's not losing.
Agreed.
This has been his year. I mean, honestly, getting arrested, winning the Masters, yes,
Having a baby.
I mean, he's crushed it. Winning the gold at the Olympics. I'm not saying it's Tiger-esque. It's not Tiger, but it's very close to it. This is his year.
100%.
I'm just hoping it's going to be a great finish because Xander is.
He always
he's
finishes
always
strong.
in there too.
I wouldn't count out Xander. I mean, Hideki's
Definitely
3 back.
not, Yeah.
Rory's, I think, at -5 or 4.
It's over. I'm telling you right now. It's
Well, go.
over.
How about go back to
I'm
last
still
week?
going to watch it because the golf shots are going to be incredible, but it's over.
Let me pose the question to you though. Last week you guys heard me rave last week about Castle Pines in Denver.
Yeah.
I don't think though I've seen that many errant wedge shots by tour pros that you saw there. Obviously Denver, that mile high, thin air,
Well,
the 10% factor, but they were airmailing greens down the stretch, Keegan Bradley and Adam Scott.
Well, didn't Rory hit a 340-yard bomb on the fly? I don't mean roll. I mean, in the air, it carried 340 yards.
Yeah, it's
They're not used to playing in that elevation, and for those guys, it actually makes a difference.
No, and that golf course is spectacular. But Keegan Bradley wins last week. Obviously, he's got a shot. I think he's 4 back going into this week.
It's over.
All right. He's the Ryder Cup captain pick. I'm on record that I didn't think it was the right choice at the right time. But now the question is he's played himself into will he be a captain's pick for the President's Cup, which is next month?
Who is the captain of the President's Cup?
That is Jim Furyk.
Oh, the octopus falling out of a tree? The swing, I mean?
Yeah, they get to go up to Montreal. That's where it is this year. It's in Canada.
Wait, the President's Cup is in Canada?
Yeah, it's the international team versus the U.S.
That makes a lot of sense. Because
No, it's at Royal Montreal, which I think is the oldest golf club in North America.
Okay.
So, which is a great venue and host. But should he be a captain's pick?
Well, who are you going to pick over him? That's the question.
Right now, playing is the playing ability?
Is he the tallest midget? So yeah, why not? I mean,
he's a little taller. He's almost like 6'1", 6'2", maybe 6'3".
Well, the one-eyed man is king in the land of the blind. So if that's all that's left, then yeah, pick him.
Well, he was a pain in the ass for us in 2012. We had to take down a tree for the Ryder Cup off the 4th hole there because his the way he tries to flight his golf ball was going to be in the way.
You cut down a tree for one dude.
We took down a tree. That's the things you do for the Ryder Cup and try to get the advantage. Now, we wouldn't obviously do that for a PGA Championship or U.S. Open, but for the Ryder Cup, they did.
To get the across the pond.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of across the pond, welcome back, John.
Yeah.
Good to be back, partner.
They have any stories for us?
Not yet.
Okay. You're
Over
going to hold
beer,
off on
over
that?
a beer, maybe. Yeah. It's foggy memories, I can tell you that much.
There is video, though. Don't you have video?
No, please no.
We've got video of you, Johnny. We're going to get into that in the next segment. So, all right. So we finished the Little League World Series, FedEx Cup. We're going to come back after the break. We're going to get into college football, gentlemen.
Yeah, baby.
We're going to go. There's
it's
a slate of great games this weekend. And then we're going to get into John's trip across the pond and banging on those knolls. We ask you, obviously, here at The Reality Check, to please follow us on Twitter, X, YouTube, and TikTok. And follow, like, and subscribe. And we'll be right back. And we want to give a shout out to our folks at 3 City Pizza. We'll see you in just a minute. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back, America. And again, as always, thanks to our friends over at 3 City Pizza. And again, don't forget to follow us and subscribe on YouTube, X, Instagram, the whole shit on all that. I'm just
all the social media. Way to cover it, Scully. Great job.
I'm just
well done.
I got my A game today. Holy
like
smokes.
and subscribe on anything you pay attention to.
Exactly. Thank you. TikTok. All right, gentlemen. John, enlighten us. What the hell happened in Dublin?
They forgot the song.
You know, in the spirit of Dublin, my response is this. What the fuck is going on? Was that? It's looked like you flew all the way to Dublin to take a giant shite on me field. It was, we're all sitting in the stands in the first 3 minutes. Everybody's looking at each other like, oh, what's going on? I mean, we had maybe 60 seconds of, whoa. And then all of a sudden I was like, did he just like make that bad pass? And like, it lacked chemistry, consistency, and most importantly, leadership. It was, I got to be honest with you, it's painful. Now, there's a ton of people out there that can throw stats at me about, it was the defense's fault or, the offense did pretty good. But the offense, if it wasn't for 2 long plays, and I'm stealing your thunder because I know you could beat me up so bad.
I'm being
If
kind.
it wasn't for 2 long penalties,
yes,
they would have been blown out. Now, I don't know. We were stunned. Everybody in the stands was just sitting there in awe.
All right,
they did look flat. I mean, they looked extremely flat. The stats were pretty even, with the exception of rushing. Georgia Tech outran them by 100 yards, and I think that was possibly the difference there.
Yeah, we'll get onto the quarterback in a minute. But I'm going to throw away the game last year earlier this year against Georgia, because that was not a legitimate game.
That wasn't their team.
They didn't have their team. But that was one of the first times, and I was texting you guys over in Dublin. That was one of the first times I've seen Florida State get their ass handed to them on both lines of scrimmage.
So let me just say this about the players, because I was there. They came out of the huddle, and you know this, Scully. They had intensity. They were ready to go. Like, even from the sidelines on the change of downs, they were sprinting. They were like, let's go. But they were just tight. The only thing that I can attest this to, maybe what's the difference between this year and last year, the number one thing that I saw was the lack of leadership. and there's one guy that wasn't there. I know there's a lot of guys that weren't there because a ton of people went to the NFL. But who's the one guy you think carried that team a lot last year? Well, there was two guys, but the one guy was
Your defensive end.
Well, Verse, but you also had Jordan Travis.
Yeah,
I
your
mean,
QB.
that guy,
Yeah, for sure.
even when he got hurt, he still had a presence on the sidelines, and he drove that team, and he believed in them. This team just lacked the leadership. That's just my opinion. But the players came out to play. I can tell you that. They weren't like flat. They didn't look like they were the hands-on. They weren't tired. They were fit. And they came. It was like they were getting out of the huddle fast. They were ready to go, but just no connections. People can say,
Well, John, I will tell you this real quick because I could be very brutal right now, but I'm going to be
right ahead.
I'm going to be a good friend.
I deserve it. No,
there were two
right ahead.
takeaways that I came away from this. One, I've never seen your coach have the Andy Reid School of Clock Management, and he did. It was his worst game I've ever seen him coach.
Sure.
It was horrible during that stretch. He had 3 timeouts, doesn't use any of them, winds it down. He doesn't have a shot to go for the end zone, and his kicker bails his ass out and kicked. By the way, best kicker in college football, 59-yarder, well done.
Right. It's sad when your kicker is the MVP.
And he bails you out.
Right.
And the second point is that Florida State just shouldn't play teams with the name Georgia in it, and you'll be fine.
I mean, Norvey, we got beat by the bees.
Well,
You got beat by an insect, man.
Oh man,
By a bug.
It
Got
was,
beat by a bug.
You needed your shot.
it was painful. It was
Halftime
painful.
FSU locker room was very quiet. They were stressed, and all you heard was
And they were Todd.
Well, other people will say, all right, shooter. Other people were saying that the offensive
faulted.
coordinator got suspended for 2 games. But you mean to tell me that even matters? The playbook's
No,
the playbook.
right.
And you got Scully, help me out here. You played college football. What
I'm
leadership, chemistry? What am I missing here?
Well, there's 2 things that now we'll get into it. He's on his 3rd team. And you go back to the famous Dennis Green line after they played the Bears. They are who they thought they are who we thought they were.
Right.
Well, ukulele or whatever the hell his name is not it. I mean, Clemson let him go, goes to Oregon State, and then comes back to Florida State. I just, that transfer portal, or as Patrick calls it, the cheating portal,
Yes.
is going to be the death knell of. It's worse than free agency in the National Football League. But he's whatever you're paying him up there in Tallahassee, he's not worth it, and he's not the guy. And you're gonna have to address that early because number one, the play calling was horrendous.
Okay.
And did
Agreed.
not put him in good situations. How many throws did he actually have where he stretched the field? 3?
All game. I
All
think his
game.
longest in the
Yeah,
first half might have been 8 yards.
Yeah, they had the one RPO that they ran where they hit the tight end down the middle there for about a 20-yard gain, but
Right.
it was a 5-yard catch that he was a yak yards after catch. But I texted you early. I said this is not.
No, we all were just sitting there
And-
scratching our heads in the first 5 minutes of the game. And furthermore, the quarterback weighs about 254.
Yeah,
In college football,
he's
you
as
could
big as a
run
tight
him,
end.
and he should be picking up 4 or 5 yards every single time. You should not be having to go for it 4th and 13. Or
I just
4th
don't
and
see
10.
the decision making that he's making where he's seeing off of 1 to
It was
2
a bad
to 3.
coaching day
Well,
for
and,
your
you know,
boy. It really was.
And the defense didn't help either. They got beat, end arounds for some big yard gains.
How many points did they give up, Carl? The defense? Do you know? I mean, I'm trying.
22,
24.
23 or 24.
That's not horrible
I
in
know,
college
it's
No,
tough,
football.
right.
but did you see those big runs on the outside? I mean, I think Georgia Tech ran for what, maybe 198 yards? That's some big numbers.
Okay, let's get into the gentleman who sat in your chair.
Oh,
Because-
he did this to you, by the way.
Oh.
He did a great job, but he did this to you.
I
We-
would have never predict that. I mean, now we're sitting at 3-4 losses, basically.
Yeah,
That's my prediction.
It's
But
time.
we'll still be better than Florida.
It's time to bang on Mark
That's
King.
not saying much, though.
If you played
Because-
the same schedule, you might not be. Sorry, Scully.
It's
No,
it's all good. You're all good because we have a tape that's out there in the world The digital world.
On the cloud.
On the cloud.
On the line.
Yeah, on that cloud, Kamala.
It's on the line.
Or Kamala, whatever the hell your name is. But our boy Shooter and the gentleman, Mr. Mark King, who sat in that chair, are exposed for having picked the Florida State Seminoles to win the national title.
Well, I'm going to go on a record right now. First of all, back in my love for the late, great Bobby Bowden. But I'm going to tell you this, that I will say on record that Mark King gave me $20 to back him.
Oh, I cannot believe you threw him under the bus like that.
I say
That's right. He was already under the bus.
Hey, $20 is $20.
Well, there's a picture out there of Mark playing a ukulele for ukulele, so we'll make sure that sees the light.
That's so funny.
The Kinger. That's a post-Dublin celebration.
You wonder why.
God, it's a good thing he's our friend because his enemies can't do much worse.
I hope Carmen doesn't watch this.
Well, the funny part about it, he left you and went on a cruise, so he's not going to see this until
for a
next
few
week.
more days.
We'll make sure his kids see it though.
Well done, Gentry. Well done, boys.
Sorry, Luke and Victoria.
Well, Johnny, other than the game, how was Dublin?
Phenomenal. It was great venue.
You went bushmilling.
It was obviously 2-1 Florida State fans, and it was. But even
though it didn't matter,
Georgia Tech Bees, they were, they were happy to be there, and even the Florida State fans, very gracious. It was a good time. Dublin was amazing. No obnoxiousness. Just both sides on both sides of the ball. All the fans were really, really cool. It was just a really good time.
Now, obviously, that's a soccer football stadium.
Yeah.
Seats good from the venue.
There it is.
And that's the ball game.
No, it was fine. It was.
Okay.
We saw. I mean,
no,
I think it was like 46,000.
Was
people.
They
so
really suck.
And the pub life was good.
Too good.
There's a video clip of a wonderful Irishman telling you to do a certain thing.
Oh yeah. Well, you know me. I like to play shoot pool in dive bars. So
I believe it was invented there.
Respectfully, go fuck yourself.
That's
straight from Dublin.
That was my warm welcome to Camden Street. So yeah, it was fun.
I have to expect to see him wearing a kilt, though. I'm not going to lie. Pants kind of threw me off. Well, Irish do too, I think. Yes? No? I think they do.
Do they?
Yes. I think
I was unaware that the Irish folks wear kilts.
Yes, they do. They both
wear green beret hats. Right?
That too, yes.
I don't know. And little
shamrock badges.
Did you rock that yourself, John?
Pardon?
Did you rock that yourself?
Of course. Yeah.
You have video on that?
All right. Before we get into the first pick, give us an update on Jack. How's he doing?
Jack's doing great. Dropped him off in Motala, Sweden. We were at the train tracks, cried like babies when we left each other. Don't tell my daughter, because when I brought her to Florida State, she's like,
I think you just
let's
did.
not get there. Yeah. She doesn't. I hope she doesn't watch this. But it was just, he's doing really, really well. He's at Jönköping University. It's a business school in Sweden. And he got picked up on the second team at IF Silva, which is in Norrköping. So really cool. He's doing good.
Heard he scored a couple goals early.
Bangers. Yeah. He was playing extremely well in the first two trials. Everything went good. So he's just trying to get on a first team, and then, we'll see where it takes him. So he's living his dream. I love it. I mean, it's amazing.
That's awesome. Well, we both root for Jacks, so
thank you.
Keep going.
Thank you.
Big love there. All right, guys, we got a great slate of college football coming up this weekend.
Yeah, we do.
We're going to get into the other Florida teams right now. Miami in the swamp playing your Gators, Patrick.
That's not nearly that's not literally as annoying as this.
They're both annoying.
Hey,
no,
are you kidding?
We do that maybe
wait a second.
3 times a game.
We can hold our beer. You can't. You got to put your beer down to do that. We can have one beer in the left hand, do this in the right hand.
That's
all game
because
long.
we can use both hands at the same time and move them.
I don't. Where do you put your beer? It's annoying.
In the cup holder, because you don't pay for the cheap seats. You put it in the cup holder right behind the seat, and then you do it. And we only do it 3 times a game.
So much of Florida annoys me.
I did.
So,
you know what?
Oh,
you're bringing this upon yourself.
All right, ladies, behave.
Nope.
Ladies.
If you have, for the people out there, if you have a bando or anyone likes to play instruments and looking for a scholarship, please go to Florida State, because you only have to learn one fucking song to play the entire time. It's real easy.
Boom. Okay, let's get back into the Miami.
For the love of God.
Can you replay that tape for Patrick?
One song. That's all they got to learn. And the band. I mean, at halftime, I'm sure that's all they play too is dun, 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 dun. That's it. They don't know any other song. They are the worst band in college football.
All right, Scully, what do you got?
Florida State.
Scully, what do you got?
I'm going.
See, that's another song we play. That's 2. That's one more than they have.
Please, all you Florida State fans, get behind me and let's roast this
please,
guy,
because
right?
you know what the reality is, I see it is you have one song that you play the whole game.
All right,
the first quarter is great, and then shoot me, Florida and Miami.
Your Gators are it's moved. The line's moved to 3 this morning.
That means the money's going on Miami, as rightfully so.
Gators are getting 3 at home.
In the swamp, and Steve Spurrier, if he were dead, we'd be rolling over in his grave. So I'm pretty sure he just rolled over in bed today. Miami wins. Florida just doesn't have the talent. They lost too much of it. ETN's gone. I love the coach. I want to be wrong, but I think Miami goes into the swamp and wins.
Wow.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it, especially Miami. As our buddy King said, Florida can win, but Miami can suck a bag of dicks. I hate them.
Okay.
Silence.
But they're going to win.
That's the second week in a row where the host was speechless.
They're going to win. They are.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, let's oh wow. All right, let's move north.
A bag. So understand, a bag.
I understand. King dropped that on me last week in Johnny's absence, and I almost fell over.
I think it's great. He stole it from me. That's why I had to drop it.
Well,
I had to reclaim my little slogan.
Yeah. Now that we're believing Miami's going to go into the swamp and beat the Gators.
Yes.
No,
I hope I'm wrong.
stupid.
I really hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but I don't think it's going to be pretty, man.
But
That's
then
just stupid.
we move north to the beautiful city of Atlanta and the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yes.
You know, it's a neutral site, but Georgia's hosting Clemson. Even though those two schools are 85 miles apart,
100%.
it should be a split as far as the fandom. But now the interesting thing about this, you know, Georgia, everybody is kind of, it was your natty pick to win the whole thing.
Yes.
It's been a lot of the guys on ESPN, that stupid channel we watch, and then the Outkick guys are all picking Georgia as well. But Clemson has the 5th best roster, they say, in college football this year.
Well, Florida State was also ranked 10. So come on, they don't know anything.
Well,
yeah, but I don't think Clemson lost as many players to the NFL as Florida State did.
Well, that's because they didn't have any to go.
I think the line's too big. I think
It's
Clemson,
13.5.
I think Clemson keeps it within 10 and always has a shot. So first game of the season, it's hard to get in a rhythm.
Fair enough on that.
So I think Clemson keeps it tight.
And don't forget about the running backs, right? NTN, unfortunately, got caught by the popo. So,
has it come out that he's suspended yet? I have not seen that.
And actually, there's a policy that Georgia has that says that if he is found guilty, he has something about 10% of the game. So that's just one game. And then he may end up playing this weekend.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah. And then you have Robinson that's hurt, right?
Okay.
So they literally have a couple of running
So Georgia's
backs.
following Mike Gundy rules on DUIs.
Or Tom Osborne, let the criminal play. Either way, I like to say karma. That's what you get for leaving Florida, you piece of shit.
Okay. All right. So who are our picks? Carl, who are you going with, Clemson or Georgia?
You know what? If NTN's playing, I'm going with Georgia.
Trickster?
Too deep.
I will get to this later, but Georgia.
Okay. Yeah, I know you get your tricks parlay there. Johnny?
Clemson.
Okay. I'm going with Clemson myself.
So you think Clemson wins, or are you talking about the line?
I think Clemson plus the points.
Okay.
Yeah, 13
Johnny,
what is
you think they
13
win
and
or
a
the
half, right?
points?
I think they cover the spread, so
But they don't win.
It's first game of the season. It's hard to predict.
But that's
Flip
what
a
you're here to
coin?
do.
Yeah. Are you going to flip
Does
a coin?
Georgia win the
We brought a
game or does
special coin
Clemson
for you,
win the
John.
game?
Get the coin out.
I thought we're talking about whether they cover the spread or not.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. But who wins the game? You said Clemson for the spread. I'm not.
Georgia wins on a field goal.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. All right. The next game we have on the slate, we're going to College Station, Texas. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish open up the season against the Texas A&M Aggies.
Notre Dame's always overrated. I like them because they're God's team, but they get hooked by the horns.
The 12th man.
Yep, the
Get
12th
the
man.
Aggies get them.
Yep, the Aggies get them.
Okay.
Tough to go into that stadium. Yeah, 12th man. Always wins that extra.
That's a tough one at home there. That's a tough place to play. Carl?
A&M quarterback returns. Yeah, they got some strong transfers. I like them.
Scully, something about A&M that I believe is to be true. You can certainly look it up and fact check me, but I believe they go into the stands every game, and you know where the 12th man came from.
Yep.
And they actually find someone, suit him up, and he's on the kickoff on the game. He's he actually lines up on the kickoff.
That is a fact, and I'm not sure that they're still doing that, but
that's where it came from.
I know that. They used to do. I'm not sure they're still doing it. I'll have to double check that one.
Okay.
But that's good.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Well, that's a tough place to play, and they also have the largest NIL endowment of any
Really?
school. Yeah,
You
believe it or
mean
not.
a team in Texas with oil money?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
No, it's insane. So again, to go into that transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to be calling Caesars, and we're all going to be betting Notre Dame because I'm taking Texas A&M.
Right, I know.
For those betting at home, take Notre Dame for sure now.
So-
They win by 30.
And then there's a backyard game that I want to get to, which I think is going to be personally the game of the day. And that's the old Penn State Nittany Lions going into Morgantown to play West Virginia.
Yeah, well done, Carl.
Oh,
I have a question. Why is Heben such a big West Virginia fan?
Because his wife is.
I mean, what is he?
Paula is.
Is he dressed her in like a cheerleading outfit or something?
No, he didn't care. He's from Duck University, Kent State.
Right.
As he played DB there. So why?
Heben played DB.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
At Can't Read, Can't Write, Kent State.
Yeah, Kent State.
Can't
Yeah.
read, can't write.
You like that?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So he even went to Kent State, and because of
And
Paula,
yet-
he's a West Virginia fan.
I've
Because
known that
Well,
guy
he's
for
also-
25 years.
He's always been a West Virginia fan.
And
Well,
I
since
never
I've
knew
known
he
him-
played football.
oh yeah, he was a DB. Yeah, true story. True story. But it's Paula's from up there, so he morphed into a West Virginia.
How many?
Thank God I'm a country boy.
You could have picked any other team. I mean, that's
Again,
weird.
she's from there.
all right. Okay.
All
Did
of
she
her-
go to West Virginia?
No, but all of her
Right.
family's
She doesn't
up
even,
there.
like-
he goes to West Virginia
Every
all
year.
the time.
Right.
yeah.
Every summer
Yeah,
he
but
goes
did
to West
she
Virginia.
go to
Every
West
chance he
Virginia
gets.
University?
I do not know. I know Paula is quite lovely, but I'm not sure that she went there.
I'm not
I
saying
just know
I did
No,
not
she
say
did
she's
not.
not
because
lovely.
I'm thinking if you go to West Virginia, you're not lovely, and I'm putting words in your mouth.
Ah,
but
okay. All right.
Well,
that was.
well, that's obviously it's game day is going to be in West Virginia.
yes,
McAfee's dumped a ton of money into their NIL program. He's doing his show there tomorrow from West Virginia.
okay.
So that's the feature game of the day. I actually think West Virginia upsets Penn State.
No.
I think the Fighting Sandusky's go down in Morgantown.
Oh, that rhymed. Well done. No, Penn State. Listen, Franklin is a horrible coach. He's awful, but he only loses to two teams: Michigan and Ohio State. He doesn't lose to anyone else.
Okay.
Penn State may not cover because their clock management is not his strong suit. Excuse me. I was from last night. Apologies. But he only loses to two teams. That's Ohio State and Michigan. And last time I checked, thank God I'm a country boy. West Virginia is not one of those two teams.
Johnny?
I would have to agree. You know, Penn State's a powerhouse, so
Okay.
I think
I think the West Virginia Mountaineers are laying in wait for him personally. All right, Carl, what you think? Penn State or West Virginia?
Well, West Virginia struggles against the Big Ten, and they actually opened up last year as well. And Penn State
thumped them, didn't they?
Yeah,
No,
they did.
it was not a thumping. They scored 2 late touchdowns to spread that out.
I know they covered, and
They
that's
did
all I
cover.
care about.
They actually outgained West Virginia by 170 yards.
Oh, that's right. That's when Franklin got he got in trouble for running up the score because the game was already in hand, and he still punched it in, which I was quite happy about because I had Penn State.
They covered.
They covered.
They covered on the punch.
They did, and they could have just downed it, and Franklin was like, "Nope, get bent."
Exactly.
I remember that now. We were at Twin Waters.
How do you think all that NIL money is going to get paid? It's by these guys
Oh,
that are
heck
putting
yeah.
it in. They're putting bank on these games.
Exactly.
I betcha.
All right. Well, in the last featured college game we got of the day, we go out to the one of my favorite places in the world, Las Vegas, the Death Star. It's Allegiant Stadium hosting USC and LSU.
LSU always starts off slow, but their talent compared to USC's is.
Yeah, it's the post Caleb Williams eras now for Lincoln Riley. How does he?
Lincoln Riley is a great coach offensively. Defensively, he doesn't understand that side of the ball at all.
Right.
I'm dead sexy.
Yes, I am. LSU wins. Here's the problem. He left Oklahoma because he thought that conference was tough. So he went to USC, which is a great team, but they played in the Pac-12 at the time, which was a joke. So he left to go to something easier and be the tallest midget, if you will. He hasn't played teams like LSU, and when he has, he's lost.
Okay. I don't disagree with you. I think LSU covers. Johnny?
The same. LSU, I think, is going to this year they're going to change what they always have done. Usually they lost to Florida State, which was crazy. They have talent. They're in the SEC. I think they show up. So I think they show up and beat USC.
All right, Carl?
LSU. I mean, they both lost quarterbacks. They both lost some key starting personnel on the offense. But I think LSU is going to win this game.
All right, so we're giving you 2. Before we get to Trick's picks here, we're going to give you 2 locks of the day. Bet Notre Dame and bet USC because all 4 of us picked LSU and
this is fair.
Texas A&M. All right, Trick, give us the highlight.
So my 3 power picks
that
you can go to the bank and back up the truck, lock it down.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
That is correct. There are 3 locks that I'm going to give you, Scully. I wouldn't bet your house on it, but I come pretty close. 1, Maryland, horrible. UConn, horrible. Bet the over, 45. They go over easily. Maryland wins the game. I don't know if they cover, so I was leaning that way, but Maryland always screws me when I bet that team. So bet the over, 45.
Okay.
And see, unlike some of these other places that just, give you individual, they never pick over-unders or team bets. They always pick an individual or how many points will this person have. It drives me crazy. I will actually give you a legitimate, you can go anywhere and place these bets, not just in Vegas, bets. Maryland over. Northwestern. They are playing a team that is not as good as they are. They're Big Ten. They're a 2.5-point favorite. Lay the 2.5. Northwestern covers. And then my lock, which will go against my friend Johnny and you, Clemson does not believe in the transfer portal. Dabo Sweeney, yes?
Yep.
Does not believe in it. He doesn't use it. It doesn't work. He doesn't like it. Fair?
He's on record.
Today's college football game spells death. This line should be 22 points by Georgia. And because they're going on the name of Clemson for the last 8 years, not last year, but the last 8 years where they won national championships before you had the transfer portal and his philosophy worked, which is why Nick Saban got out, the line is 13.5. Take the dogs, take it to the bank, do a 3-team parlay, do a reverse, do whatever you want. Those 3 games win. 3-0.
So repeat them for me.
Are we clear?
Northwestern -2.5. Georgia -13.5. And if you want to do an alternate line on that, you can and even get better odds because it should be 21.5 to 22. And then the over the Maryland game.
All right. Those are Trick's picks. Let's see how he blazes it out. Well, that's good. That's a good talk for college football, guys. Be interesting to see our first big weekend of football.
Yes.
When we come back, we're going to get into the National Football League. We're going to talk fantasy. We're going to talk the opening 2 games, that Thursday night game with the Chiefs and Ravens, and then the Sao Paulo, Brazil, Packers-Eagles game, and all the fantasy picks these guys are going to make. Again, please follow, like, and subscribe on X, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And when we come back, we can't wait to see you again. We want to thank our folks at Coastal Title. Big Bad Bobby Hamer. Thank you, Robert. We appreciate you, Bobby.
There we go.
And we'll be back in just a minute. Thank you.
Work on that golf game, Bob.
Ruda.
Shank. And we're back. And again, we want to thank our man Bob Hamer and Coastal Title for his belief in us and what we're doing, having some fun.
Also known as Shank Hammer.
Shank Hammer.
We love you, Bobby.
We love you, big guy. All right, gentlemen, let's get in. Obviously, it was great discussion there about college football. Now we move into the Shield, and they're opening up next Thursday night, a week from tonight.
Woohoo! Yes.
With the Raven Chefs in Arrowhead.
So real quick on that, Scully, we were talking to someone. I was talking to someone last night, and we were talking about how Cleveland Indians had to change the name for the Indians and Redskins. Like, well, what about the Chiefs? I'm like, well, if they do have to change their names, they should go to the Chefs, and they can wear the white hats.
There you go.
That's good.
They already got the commercial in the can,
right? So
with Andy Reid.
Hey. Sorry to interrupt, but
that's all good. That's all good. They're going for a three-peat. And, I'm also now, I was not a Brittany Mahomes fan, but right now that lady is killing it in my world. So
I get it.
God bless her.
Yep.
She is kind of good looking.
I wasn't a fan either, and now I find myself leaning more towards liking her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Big time.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we think? We think Mahomes and the boys started off?
I'm gonna go with Baltimore.
You're taking the Ravens.
Yeah. I think
where's it played?
It's in Kansas City.
KC.
Yeah.
In Arrowhead.
I don't think that matters much, but I just think that KC comes out a little flat every once in a while. They could be riding high from last year. Baltimore's got a little something to prove. Harbaugh might have them a little bit more prepared than the tight ends quarterback duo.
Yeah, I'm taking the points as well.
You're taking the Ravens and the points.
I am.
Wow.
Yeah, KC.
That's silly. That's just silly.
It's not silly. It's far from silly. KC played Detroit on the opener last year, lost 21-20. I just think Lamar, Derrick Henry, he's got a lot of gas in that tank. And I just think it's going to be just a dynamic duo between Lamar and Henry.
Well, I'm glad to see that you think he has gas in the tank, but the only problem is Patrick doesn't think he has any tires left on the car.
That is correct, Scully, and I'm glad you segued into that because I'm sure he has a ton of gas in the tank. He probably farts a lot. The fact of the matter is he's not going to have a tire to make the car go. He blows a tire. He's overrated. Baltimore, listen, great point on Detroit. Here was the problem. KC went in that game. I believe it was in Detroit.
That was at Kansas City.
Was it? Well, my apologies.
Yeah, it was in. Mm-hmm.
They went in half-cocked because they thought it was the Detroit of old. Turns out they were one game away from the Super Bowl, so they didn't suck. What I remember from opening nights is Tyreek Hill going off, no one having him in our fantasy league because no one knew who he was, and demolishing the New England Patriots when Brady was still there. They destroy Baltimore.
No
all right.
way.
It's 3.5, 2.5. What's the line?
All right. Your new name is King.
What is the line? Well, I don't have no allegiance. I don't have any allegiance to Kansas City. What's the line? 2.5?
3, maybe?
I think it's 3.
3?
They cover. And here's the problem because everyone else, the public, here's Johnny Public, no pun intended. Here's Carl Public. Everyone's going to bet
They're
Baltimore.
They're banging on Baltimore.
And the bookies are going to cash in.
Come back. Okay. All right. So we got 2 Ravens and we got 1 Chiefs. I think the Chiefs cover myself, but it's not about my picks. It's about you boys. All right. Then Friday night, we get a Friday night game. But we get one from Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Yeah.
And Shooters, Green Bay Packers playing the Philadelphia Eagles.
God's team.
Philadelphia?
I'm not talking to you right now, Patrick.
I think that tails back to last night, not about the Packers. The Eagles.
I don't recall him ever asking to leave and me saying no.
Yeah. The fun part about it, I'm surprised he hasn't had Gentry shut off your mics.
It's not my problem. I'm cockstrong. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
All right, Carl, give me your beliefs there. Jordan Love versus Jalen Hurts.
Jordan Love signed a big contract. I think he's going to have a rough game against the Eagles. Eagles have a stout defense. You have Jalen Hurts. He's got weapons, and A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. And let's not forget about the new addition to the squad. Saquon Barkley.
Overrated.
So I would say take the Eagles, give the points.
Okay. Johnny?
Eagles, baby.
You're going Eagles?
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
Well, when Carl said new edition, I thought of Mr. Telephone
Tricky.
Man.
I think this is a really good opportunity to get back in Shooter's good graces right now.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem. I want Green Bay to win because I'm not a huge fan of Philly. I just think it's in Brazil. It's not in Lambeau. And as we all know, you don't beat Green Bay in Lambeau, but
unless you're the 49ers.
It's not that hard to beat Green Bay outside of Lambeau. And
just shut the hell up. I'm not talking to you. I'm not dealing with you.
Charles Barkley. Well, Charles.
Shooter, your voice changed.
Unfortunately, the Green Bay Packers are going to look much like your golf swing, Charles. And it's not going to be good. It is Philadelphia. I want Green Bay to win. I don't really care either way, but I think Philly's got the better team. But I would like to see Green Bay win. But Philly takes it home.
All right, so we got 3 guys going on the Eagles. Well, I'm going to go with my boy. I'm going with Shooter. I'm taking the Packers.
Suck up.
I'm taking the Packers. Gotta love the pack.
Roommates.
Yeah, how about that?
Thunder buddies.
Yeah, hey. All right. You guys are killing me. That was good. All right. So then we'll get into next week's weekend slate next week's show, because obviously we'll be taping that on Thursday before the Chiefs game. But let's talk about your fantasy lineups for week 1 and give me some insight to where you're going with your quarterbacks. I know you're going to do your DraftKings deal, Patrick,
next
week, which will be exciting.
Yes.
But where are we leaning for right now with our fantasy picks? Johnny, I'll have you start us off. Give us some wisdom there for everybody.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah. So, quarterbacks. In our league, it's a salary cap league. So,
right.
I was trying to work the numbers and all that other fun stuff. So what I came up with was CJ Stroud. I know he's got a tough season, but I just want at least one running quarterback on my roster. And then I picked Jared Goff. I think that he's going to put up some really good numbers for the running backs. I got A-Chain for Miami, Saquon Barkley for obviously Philly, and then Corum, who plays for the Rams. Mm-hmm. That's a new name for all you gamers out there.
It is a new name, because I thought Helen or what's the mean lady that Karen Williams, right? Isn't that his name, the running back?
Kyrie Williams.
That's
I call him Karen.
Yeah.
He was the number 1 starting running back to my knowledge.
I hear you, but I think Coach really likes him. I read some write-ups on it, and I think he's going to give him some playing time.
Nice.
Really, really behind.
He's got to be really, really cheap then.
Yeah, he is.
Brilliant.
So he's a rookie. Not really going to give you my kicker and my defense because they're irrelevant. But obviously on the wide receiver side, I did go with Neon Dion.
Your boy Neon Dion Coleman.
Carl's Jets guy.
Garrett Wilson.
That's right.
All right. Great call.
So, it's I think
they are playing San Fran now.
I know, but got him on the roster. So that's where I'm at. And Kyle Pitts
Yeah.
for the tight end.
Tight end from the Atlanta Falcons.
He's going to have someone throwing for him. So I think for the money, he's a good pick. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. Carl, I'm going to jump to you. Give us your insight.
I will be collecting the weekly winnings this week.
Oh, shot fired.
All right. Well, let me let me lay it on you here. So again, our salary cap league, we have $50 million to spend. Quarterbacks usually kind of run about top quarterbacks, $8-9 million. So it's tough to get really two tough top quarterbacks. So what I have done is I looked at the matchups, and I am going with Derek Carr for New Orleans. They play Carolina. Hoping Carolina gives him a bit of a game, so we'll get some points there. I'm going to match him up with Kamara. Yes? What?
That's a great pick.
All right, moving on. I have Goff. I'm just big on Detroit. I have Goff. I also have St. Brown. I have Laporta.
The tight end.
I have Bates if he is playing. He's my $1 million kicker. So I do have him for Detroit. I have the New Orleans defense. Running backs, I have 8-chain Miami, and also the tank with Jacksonville. And I have Xavier Worthy for KC.
And Xavier,
Yes.
You took Patrick's boy, Xavier Worthy.
I'm sure I took all of his picks. Right. I looked at his sheet.
I thought ETN was in Jacksonville. Who's this tank guy you're talking about?
Yeah.
Tank Dell?
Again.
That's a wide receiver. You jumped from running back to wide receiver.
Yes, I did. I bounced around.
Okay.
But he's like a 2 some odd million. So he kind of fit in my roster.
He's coming back from being hurt.
I know.
Nice.
I know.
So.
Okay.
All right, Tricky. We've had the Nicolosi boys. Give us some wisdom.
I feel like a Nicolosi sandwich right now. I like the shot across the bow, though, saying I'm going to be collecting the winnings this week. Well done. Well, everyone's going to have Jared Goff because in our league, for those, we again, salary cap, because for the money and the potential, everyone will have this quarterback. I have him as well, so that'll all be a cancel out, boys. Sorry. I went a little different approach. I went with all rookie wide receivers.
It's why you fail.
This is why I will succeed.
Fail.
Worthy, I have him. Xavier, it's because he is going to be the rookie of the year, so I've got to stand behind that and have him on my team. I'm trying to go off the top of my head who it is. See, I have an issue. I go head to head with certain players every week, and right now I'm up to, I believe, 8. Travis, King, Sunil, Carl, Kevin Shockling, I'm sure Heben, going back to West Virginia. So I don't really want to divulge my entire roster, but I do have a stellar quarterback to go with Goff. I have 2 solid running backs and 1 really good one. And that's all you're getting. 3 rookies. Now, if I was to help the people out there, I would try to, if for like DraftKings will do it, but if you're doing snake drafts and this is your draft this weekend,
yes,
there's 2 good running backs that you need to get. If you can't get them, then go to the wide receivers. There's probably about 8 top level wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb, I think did he just sign?
Yes, he did.
I saw that.
Yeah.
So he's obviously the top. Everyone, it's funny in snake drafts. If someone goes running back, everyone goes running back because they think it's on a run. Don't do that. Pick the best wide receiver. I mean, unless one of the top 2 running backs, McCaffrey and now I'm having a brain fart, but don't just go running backs because everybody else is. If the best wide receiver's out there, pick him. Honestly, or if you want to get risky, pick a quarterback. I had a draft the other day. It was a auction draft. There's only 10 people in it, but I got Mahomes and Allen. You start 2 quarterbacks. Those 2 guys right there are going to take me to the championship. So it's just, I don't know.
All right. Well, good luck this season.
Yes, you as well.
Luck.
Good luck to you, lads. That is so you're gonna have to throw down your rosters next week. You know, the whole concept of giving fantasy knowledge is to give the actual knowledge. And
that's why I let them go first.
The dreaded players to be named later.
So you have McCaffrey, huh? So I'm gonna have to pick him up.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna take back one of those running backs. I'm gonna pick up McCaffrey. Thanks, Patrick.
You're welcome. See, I gave it away without giving it away. You just had to pay attention, Scully.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm still flabbergasted at some of the earlier stuff, trying to catch up and reel from that. But okay. Well, we got obviously the games, fantasy. That's the NFL. It's going to be what we've all waited for. I know Carl sent his letter to his beautiful wife that he'll see her in February.
Fantastic, Carl.
My 2-week notice.
You gave your 2-week notice.
My 2-week notice.
Which was, and it's on tape. We may have to put that on social media if I can get Debbie to sign off.
Yes.
And also thanks to Debbie for designing our Reality Check t-shirts. So
you look quite dapper.
Merchandise will be available on our website soon. Anything else from the NFL guys before we go into the break?
I think it's cool they're playing in Brazil. That's awesome.
Well, they've been trying. Obviously, they've been in Europe a whole bunch with Germany and England. So
Green Bay will be victorious.
And Mahomes is going to light it up. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well, it's just exciting. Tonight with college football kicking off in official week 1, and will Florida State come back on Monday night and all that. It's just a lot to be talked about. But before we go to the break, again, please follow us, like, subscribe on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, on X, on Facebook. And then we'll be back in just a minute. Again, a shout out to our man, Bob Hamer at Coastal Title. And we'll be back in just a minute to wrap up the day with final thoughts. Thank you. And we're back. Again, thanks to our friend Bob Hamer over at Coastal Title. We're going to get into some final thoughts here. And then I got something to wrap up the show, a little notification and all that type of stuff. But, Johnny, it's great to have you back. Glad you survived the trip. Glad Jack's doing well. Give us some final thoughts for this week.
Whoa, final thoughts. Final thoughts are, I'm still a little jet lagged from my 5-country tour over 2 weeks. But I will say this. Florida State fans are some of the gracious, best fans in the world. I was sitting there having a Guinness short with Mr. Reeves. And, there was a bunch of Georgia Tech people sitting down, and all these Florida State fans are walking by, and I'm just saying, congratulations. You guys deserve to win the game. Very, very gracious. Even as they're walking out, nobody was really angry or anything, still doing the war chant. And that was just in multiple bars. And even I ran into some ex-players back at the hotel and, kind of made eye contact, and they were like this, and we were all just like, it is what it is. And it was Florida State lost the game. Georgia Tech was well coached, and they made more plays than we did. So that's my final thought. Love all you Knowles out there, and love Tallahassee.
I salute you.
Okay.
What is a short Guinness? What did you call it?
Guinness short.
Guinness, yeah.
What is that?
It's a little shot of Guinness with some Baileys in it. It's awesome. Awesome.
Oh, I might have to try that.
It's really, really good.
With Jameson, you call it an Irish car bomb.
Right. But we're not allowed to, you can't say that over there. So we were very respectful. And I'm dead serious.
But that's the name of the drink.
We do Guinness shorts now. Do not say Irish car bomb. And it's highly offensive.
Well, I'm Irish,
the
so
car
I can
bomb.
say it.
No, you cannot.
It's the car
I'm
bomb.
Irish. I can say it.
You cannot say it over there.
They will bounce you out in the street. You will get your ass kicked.
Well, if they didn't blow shit up and we're drunk, they wouldn't call it an Irish car bomb.
It's the history behind it. And the younger younger generation's okay with it, but the older generation, they want to fight.
Oh, that's funny.
It's because
so get it short.
So I'm saying get it short.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
So look it up on whatever. It's pretty. It's a really refreshing,
Awesome.
energetic drink.
Well, we're glad you're back, brother. And the Knowles will be back.
Good to be back.
All right, Trickster. What sands your paper this week?
Well, what sands my paper is Brian No. Most people don't know who he is, but leaving here last Saturday on the way to go watch Florida State play at Glory Days, Poplar Spot, I'm listening to the radio, and this knucklehead is on the air shouting at the rain about the college playoff. Fine. He wants it to be more like March Madness. And what bothers me is this. We are taking, what makes college football great? One, it's kids. Two, the tradition. Rubbing that stupid rock at Clemson, doing the tomahawk, doing the gator chomp. The traditions of college football is what makes college football great.
The Rose Bowl parade.
Correct. The parade. I mean, yes, great, Johnny. And this knucklehead, or I'm going to say jackass, wants to get rid of all the bowl games and just go to something like March Madness where you have, I don't want to misquote him, but from what I heard him say, allegedly, go to like 32 teams. Well, one, that's stupid because after 12 or maybe 16, I might give you 16. After that, the talent falls off so bad, it's a joke. It's not like a 1 can beat a 16 in basketball where you only have 5 people on the floor. College football, you have a team. After 16, the talent falls off so bad, it's ridiculous. So trying to do that is silly. What I think you should do is incorporate.
That's silly.
That is silly.
That's just silly.
Incorporate the bowl games, keep the tradition, but expand it if you want to 16 games. Although I think 12 is going to work great, but incorporate the bowl games more. Don't get rid of them. Why do you want to get rid of tradition of college football that makes it great? So with that said, I think he's a moron, and I did not enjoy his take. He does have a Saturday talk show, so good for him, but he's an idiot. And Gentry,
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
That's right.
Because fuck them. That's why. Fuck them.
Exactly.
Well, and to your point, you don't want some team playing the national championship where it's going to be 50-60-0.
Right.
So you can't have those teams that are on the periphery playing the SEC teams or whatever. They're going to get slaughtered. So you're dead on.
The percentages, absolutely.
Yeah, it's sand my paper when he wanted to get rid of the even more tradition that we've already gotten rid of with the transfer portal and shit like that. So We've done enough. Let's not mess with it anymore. Let's enjoy what we got. I think it's perfect. Keep the tradition, incorporate the ball games, and we're good.
Or just call it NFLB.
Yeah, NFLB. And that's fine. And we can get rid of college football and completely, just call it NFLB.
Exactly. Shadur Sanders signing for money with Nike. And
yeah, which, good for him. But yes, exactly.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Yoda, throw us down some wisdom.
Well, I like to expand a bit on our good friend, Mark King. Okay, Mark King filled in for my brother, John, as he went on his tour.
Great job.
And literally embarrassed himself, okay, on the last episode. Okay, he literally, there he is.
Poor King. Y'all are dirty motherfuckers, man. Y'all are dirty.
With his FSU pick, he literally burst into flames.
Oh, poor King.
So I do offer these words of wisdom. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. When life's a bitch, beer is a must. Drink on, my friend. Drink on.
Oh, Carl.
Say lick these nuts.
Carl, what do they say?
That would have been even better.
What's the saying? The first way to solve a problem is to admit that you have a problem.
Right.
That's like the second 2 out of 3 weeks where Carl's referred to something about drinking beer.
Yes, I love it. Well done. Alcohol
There's
of
a
some
solution.
sort. Yes, I
It's
love
right.
it.
Chemistry and solution.
All
Yes.
right, Shooter's Bar and Grill. Give us this day in sports, my brother.
All right, we got a few things. First of all, I'm going to do a little shout out to a University of Louisiana, where I was for 16 years a coach. The ex-player, the alumni, Ron Guidry, the Ragin' Cajun, 4-time All-Star, 1978 Cy Young, World Series 77 and 79, turned 74.
Holy Christ, Ron Guidry, 74.
The Raging Cajun.
Yankee.
Is that the Raging Cajun that's
Was
in
he a
politics?
No.
It's
Okay.
not.
Okay.
In 1925, after a night
I think
on the
that's
town,
Carville.
this is familiar from last night. I think we're feeling this right now. 1925, after a night on the town, Babe Ruth showed up late to batting practice and was suspended and given a $5,000 fine. We understand, Babe. 1982, George Brett hits his 1,500th hit today, on this day. And we have a sad death.
Aren't they all sad, Shooter?
This is sad because I was a big fan of Mr. Willy Wonka. Gene Wilder died at the age of 83. And a little trivia.
He's
on
been
this
reincarnated, though, by that guy that plays Bear on The Bear. Looks like it could be his kid.
And a little shout at Blazing Saddles,
Yeah.
Gene Wilder. And a little trivia here. In 1987, Nolan Ryan passed 200 strikeouts. He hit that barrier. The trivia is, how many times did he do that? How many times did Nolan Ryan break the 200 strikeout barrier?
5.
Once.
3.
You can only do it one time.
Yoda?
7.
11.
Holy Christ.
11 times. He was the Texas Ranger.
California Angel. He was
Nolan. Yeah.
And that's today in sports.
Thank you, Shooter.
Awesome.
All right, guys. It was fun to get back in. Great to have you back,
Yeah,
John.
Johnny, welcome
you,
back.
guys.
buddy.
Glad to be here.
Just an update to all of our followers, fans, listeners out there. Our good man, Tito Ortiz, went to Mexico he's getting ready to launch a brand new tequila brand. And he was in there to find an agave plant and unfortunately got stuck in Mexico and missed our window of shooting. So we're going to get him back in studio soon. We'll have more to update on that. I want to give a shout out. Oh, you've heard me talk about him on previous shows, but a young man who's just made the Detroit Lions as an undrafted free agent as their long snapper, longtime family friend, Hogan Hatton. So we're really proud of you, Hogan, and we're looking forward to talking to you soon here on the show. That's it from the Reality Check, guys. The truth as we see it. I think we gave them our best today.
Thank you, gentlemen, for having me.
Yeah.
Have a great week. We'll see you next
enjoy
Thursday.
Your week, everybody.
Thank you.
Enjoy your week.
Let's go, Florida.